Every league but the WNBA wants a piece of Caitlin Clark. The latest example being the LPGA, who extended an offer or, a fist pound in support of Clark's joking comments that she wants to become a pro golfer in the offseason. Here was what Clark had to say after the game. If you didn't see it, obviously she was messing around.
We're going to take some time. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that decision?
I was focused on beating the Connecticut Sun. I haven't thought too far down the line. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to do the next day. So maybe play some golf. I think that's what I'm going to do until it gets too cold in Indiana. So I got that. I'll become a professional golfer. Not so much, Dave. Yeah.
Her professional golf goals are supported by the LPGA as they put out this post, basically, just saying, count us in, Caitlin Clark 22. And I only point this out because it's now a pattern, right? We now have a pattern of every other sports league wanting a part of Clark's motion, while some within the WNBA seemingly want to reject it. Major League Baseball, when she did the viral TikTok on Lexi Hull's TikTok, that went everywhere because she's so famous. Anything she does is going to go viral anywhere. And, she's got a funny personality too. People try to act like she has no personality. She's cracking jokes all the time. But she did the Phillies mock play-by-play, which led to the Phillies reaching out. I think I saw the Milwaukee Brewers reach out. I guarantee you any MLB team would say, yes, come call a game for us in the offseason. I promise. The Indiana Pacers, another professional basketball team, obviously the other professional basketball team in Indiana, they came out and sort of extended a joking offer for her to join the broadcast booth. But if she seriously accepted it, it would not become a joke in a second, right? Like it goes from a joke to serious the second she accepts it. And that it is kind of amusing to me because of all of this. Like today, I see so much crying about Caitlin Clark again. And the people who are saying they were sick of hearing about Caitlin Clark are the ones talking about Caitlin Clark the most. How does that work out? How does that compute? And I did a video earlier on the Connecticut Sun coach and what she said, which I thought was spot on. And she said it in a thoughtful manner. And, of course, hate should be rejected. I don't know how many different times I got to say it. I'll wake up and say it every day. But beyond that, shaping the narrative around what some people online say does a disservice to the sport and does a disservice to what Caitlin Clark has helped grow here. Has been not even just helped, has been the driving force behind when it comes to the growth. And I think this is my real thought. I think the Aces Liberty Series is going to do big numbers. I think the Aces Liberty Series is going to do big numbers. Because I saw the Aces Dream Series outrated the NBA Finals, WNBA Finals from last year. At least the second game did, not up against the NFL. And so for all the Clark fans who say, I'm done with the WNBA and I'm leaving, I'm sure that's happening with plenty of them. But the fan base is so massive, you keep 15% who are actively engaged. That lifts the entire league. And we've seen it. I mean, I don't know how many different ways we got to go about it. And part of what comes with being a big boy league, or in this case, a big girl league, is big girl attention. And unfortunately, there's an ugly side of that too, which shouldn't be accepted, but also shouldn't be fed. And I think it's being fed way too often. And I think some of the folks out there, not all, because some are just aghast at having something terrible sent their way, as they should be, and as no one should do. But I do think some are weaponizing it to try to bring down Clark's aura, if you will, and drive away some of her fan base because their cool kid club was infiltrated. Because they're crashing out with the party crashed. And there's always so many layers to a discussion like this. You don't want to oversimplify it. That's why I try to hit every angle of it. Because, no one should have to be harassed or receive racism or misogyny or hateful or homophobia or whatever. Put them all in one umbrella, hate. No one should have to do that or go through that. Of course. That's a duh. At the same time, it feels as if it's sometimes manipulated to push a certain narrative or viewpoint when it comes to what Clark has brought to the WNBA, when really what Clark has brought to the WNBA is interest, is eyeballs. There is no objective way to measure any of these things that doesn't say she has helped the WNBA in any way it's possible to measure helping a business in a professional sports league. Butts and seats, television ratings, on-court play, and records. And eventually, it becomes impossible to actually argue against that. So, again, this is me identifying a minority also, just like the people who are painting a broad brush with Clark fans. I want to make sure I draw that distinction, because this is a broad brush that I'm actually using to speak to a few. But the few who have some underlying issue with Caitlin Clark and some need to bring her down and diminish her accomplishments or take away her power or whatever way you want to do it. And because there's no actual criticism for her anymore, other things come into play. Other things come into play. But I think it's noteworthy to see all these other leagues. Like I guarantee you the NFL would be the same way. If Caitlin Clark said, hey, I think she likes the Chiefs, right? I want to sit next to Taylor Swift or commentate on Patrick Mahomes. I think that's her favorite quarterback. It would happen in a second. MLB, we already saw it. LPGA, we already saw it. NBA, we already saw it. How many NBA guys have had her back this season? LeBron James, notably. DeJounte Murray clapped back at Cheryl Swoops. That's just a short, list. I guarantee you I could go find a bunch of others, because those are basketball players. They realize what she's doing as a basketball player and what she's doing to the sport, for the sport. Because a lot of the NBA guys have supported the W for a minute, showing up in the stands and making that known. And that's what most people asked for a long time, was growth in the WNBA. For the WNBA to be more popular, for more people to care about it. Now, that doesn't excuse some of the awful stuff we've seen. Of course not. But it also doesn't make sense to reject the popularity because it came in a way that you didn't foresee.